watching our continuing coverage here from Davos 2023. Joining me is CP Gurnani. CP Gurnani, always a pleasure. It's great to have you join us here in Davos. I want to pick up on what the market seems to be smelling at this point in time in terms of opportunities, specifically on Tech Mahindra. I'm being told that the stock is one of the top gainers today, Mr. Gurnani, on the back of buzz that you are going to be prepared to announce your successor very shortly. Is there truth to that?
I don't think it is the succession part because, as you know, the communication to the stock exchange has been very clear that I am on the saddle till December 23 and the successor would be a CEO-designate. There is no immediate announcement, so we will have to wait for a little while. I think more important is that most of the industry has seen, and you've seen a lot of results come in, most of the industry has seen is that the consumption of technology continues to be high. Yes, some sectors have slowed down, but there are some sectors which are picking up. For example, travel and logistics was slow, but it is now picking up, and technology sector, which had to, invest a lot to meet the demand of a consumer who was sitting at home and consuming technology. So I think it is just a method of saying that whether it is a challenge on sustainability or climate control, or whether we are talking about recalibrating the supply chains, technology will play a key role as a glue to bring all disparate solutions together. Sometimes it will define the standards. And being one of the large companies, 90 countries, 160K people around the world, I think the market is probably recognizing that.
Clearly the market is recognizing some future potential that they want to bet on at this point in time. But just wanted to get one clarification. So you're saying that there is no imminent announcement as far as succession is concerned?
The announcement will definitely happen. As I said, there will be a CEO designate, but there is no immediate announcement.
Okay, no imminent announcement. Let's, I want you to step back a little bit, and you were talking about the opportunities for the tech landscape and for the tech world. For a company like Tech Mahindra, as you foresee the future, as you look at the next 5 years from here, what do you believe the roadmap will have to look like, especially in terms of being able to get to the margins that you are seeing your peers being able to deliver? Is it largely going to continue to be organic-led? Are you now thinking about inorganic opportunities as well? What will the road to especially margin recovery be?
So, Shereen, a few things. Number one, Tech Mahindra as a strategy will continue to look at inorganic acquisitions. But as I've shared with you in a few other quarterly announcements, for the time being, we are going to consolidate and create value with the acquisitions that we have already done. But if you ask my board colleagues, they more or less remind me that never waste a crisis. In 2009, when there was a crisis, we ended up buying Satyam. Yeah. So my board question, that means my board members actually asked me, what are we doing and is there an opportunity during this crisis?
Is there an opportunity that you're looking at?
Not at the moment. As I said, my focus is organic growth. The leadership team will obviously be opportunistic, but there's nothing that I can say that we are looking at.
Okay, so that's as far as acquisitions are concerned. But what about margin recovery?
I think it's a constant effort. We have now laid a roadmap where we are looking at putting in all the operational levers, and we think every quarter you would see a definitive improvement in our margins.
Taking them to where?
I mean,
will you be on par with where your peers are? And by when?
We have never given any guidance, so I don't want to start a new trend today. But I can only tell you is that we are conscious that there are a few fault lines in the way we have operated in Tech Mahindra. There are a few operating levers that we need to work on. And both fault lines and operating levers we are now working. And hence you will see a definitive improvement every quarter.
Okay, a definitive improvement every quarter, and I understand and I appreciate that you cannot give us a guidance, but you talked both about the fault lines as well as the levers that you hope to be able to maximize on. Can you identify or articulate for me what the key would be on both fronts, the top 3 fault lines that you need to fix and the top 3 levers that you need to leverage?
So operating levers are very simple, that my subcontractor hiring compared to anyone else in the industry is one of the highest. Obviously, that means my internal supply chain engine has to become a lot more efficient. Number 2 operating lever is on-site offshore mix. I think we need to work on that area. And number 3rd is our geographical mix in operating matrix, because we do a lot of business in low yield markets and we need to optimize on that, and that's why I'm saying that these are my operating levers. In terms of fault lines, I would say that there are some processes, there are certain areas where there are duplication of work. When you're been acquisitive all these years, you tend to have a lot of duplicate processes and not one source of shared services. So I think my fault lines are not doing the integration at the nth level of our acquisitions, and some processes which are duplicate, and I think we are fixing it.
You talked about the geographical mix that you want to change and move higher up the value chain in terms of higher yield markets. When can we see that transition take place? I mean, what is the kind of broad timeline that you're looking at by when you believe you will be able to leverage on that opportunity and that lever?
I mean, it's already work in progress. I think 6 quarters, we should have completed 70% of the work. As you would have guessed, why am I not definitive about 100% is, there is never, this is not going to be where we will never make a mistake. We will make some mistakes. And number 2 is, there are customer commitments. By the time they sunset, it could be 6 quarters. I mean, I'm not going to walk away from a customer just because it is not exactly fitting into our strategy at the moment. We are a service organization. For us, customer experience, customer satisfaction is very, very important.
What else are we likely to see change as far as strategy is concerned in light of the current global environment, the competitive landscape, as well as your learnings on leveraging your strengths and reducing your vulnerabilities?
I think, Shereen, I'm very proud of what we've achieved in terms of anticipating the market demand. The market demand on blockchain, Web 3.0, Metaverse, and on 5G. That Tech Mahindra is now one of the fastest growing company in customer experience management. We did an acquisition of an agency called Bhan in New York, and now that business has grown almost 300% in the last 3 years. So I think we'll continue to focus on customer experience, because remember, it doesn't matter which market you are in. End of the day, the ultimate customer, when he pays for a good, then only the economy does well. So we are very proud that we have done the right calls in technology. We have done very, very well on customer side, and we will continue to focus on providing better services to our clients. The second area that you would recall is, one of the new businesses we started was on network services. On network services, the business is maturing. We developed our own platforms, and we are adding value to the telcos on network operations, and now we are also providing 5G services to the enterprises. So I think we'll continue to remain on the same trajectory. So it's customer experience, connectivity and cloud.
You know, specifically on 5G, how much of a bump up do you expect on account of that, since, you know, in markets like India, etc., it is now starting to play out in a significant way? How big is the 5G opportunity and what size of that are you likely to capture?
It's difficult to indicate the size because any adoption of new technology, particularly when in an uncertain world, tends to be a little cautious. So I'm not going to comment on the size, but I definitely see that every quarter we are looking at 4 or 5 new deals, and which is definitely a delta on my previous deals. And particularly, as you know, that we have had a few years ago, we had a bumpy ride in the communication sector.
CP Gurnani, it's always a pleasure. We appreciate you joining us here in Davos. Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the very best of luck with all your dinner table conversations that you intend to have.
All right. Thank you, Shereen. Thank you.